Hey there, some of you seen my kabobs on Facebook and enjoy them, like the pictures. Well, today, the Barbecue King is going to show you how to make those kebabs yourself. Since we're all locked down in quarantine and we got nothing better to do, might as well put together some tasty treats to enjoy, right? So this is what we're looking at right now. So we got our ingredients. We got olive oil. We got salt, water, white distilled vinegar. We got cumin, if you're not familiar with that. You can get some at Indian grocery stores. We got adobo. And then a couple other little doodads like some chipotle seasoning and chicken rub. These aren't required, but you can spice to your liking. In addition to that, you got your base for your vegetables. So you're going to have your cilantro, fresh garlic, about a clove of fresh garlic. I prefer fresh over powdered. And now here comes the spicy part. If you want to make these really spicy, habanero, and of course, jalapeno. What you're going to do with the vegetables, you're going to get a blender of sorts. You're going to be putting all that in there, blend it up. You're going to put in your distilled vinegar, about a third of a cup. I don't have any measurements for these because I never use measurements, all by eye, depending on how much chicken you're going to cook. Olive oil you're going to put in there, and then your seasonings, and you're going to blend it all up. So we're going to do that, and then we'll be right back. So I realized it's been so long since I've actually done these things, and I was looking at the blender and I said it's missing some consistency here. So two of the major ingredients that I forgot. One, turmeric. Turmeric's really important because it gives the chicken that yellow golden type of look to it. Also has numerous health benefits, and some sort of paste, or in this case I'm using tandoori sauce. This can also be found at most of your local grocery stores in the international food section aisles. If you don't have that, you can use something that kind of adds a little bit of thickening agent to it. This paste here, let's see if I can get this open for you. You can kind of look into it here and see, pretty thick. When you look into the blender here, you see it's a little soupy right now. So we're going to add that back in and then take another look. Okay, so it thickened up there. Now we're ready to get this and to put it into a container where we can let the chicken marinate. So pour that in there. And that's where the chicken's going to be going. Make sure you have your cutting board and a nice sharp knife ready for you. What you're going to be doing is cubing the chicken, and we'll kind of go over that in a moment. Okay, so this next step here, we're going to talk about the meat. What I always get are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. They're a lot more tender than a chicken breast. They're just juicier. And they're more malleable when you want to get them onto a skewer, which we'll be doing later. But here goes for the cutting. What we want to do is make sure we do almost like a quartering. And then what we're doing is we got these little bits and pieces. Generally out of one piece, you should be able to get about 6 pieces out of it by just cutting down the center and then 2 slashes on the sides. You'll get your pieces about that big, and then they'll go into the marinade bucket. And you're going to be repeating this for all your chicken that you have. Okay, so the next important part of these kebabs is the grill. Prepping your grill is essential. You could even mess up the marinade. As long as you got the grill right, you're good to go. So what we got right here, as you can see, is a mixture of mesquite charcoal with some mesquite wood chunks there. You got a little bit of water off to the side here. And what that's going to do later on is, as the grill heats up, it's going to help start getting some steam going in there, and that'll help the smoke stick to the chicken a lot better. Now you might be saying, well, Brian, I don't have a charcoal grill. I use propane. Well, guess what, motherfucker? You got the wrong grill. Now, next part of this is the wood chip soaking right here. So you got hickory wood chips in a cup, soak it in water. What they're going to be used for is later on, once we get this fire going, we're going to drain out the water from that cup, and then we're going to get that soaking wet hickory on top of that fire, and that's really going to get that steam going. It's going to get that smoke going, and that's when you're going to want to seal down this charcoal grill and get all that smoke into that chicken. So stay tuned, we're going to get this lighted up in a few moments here. Okay, so now we got our chicken marinated, and we're going to start to use the skewers to skewer the chicken. Now I recommend the metal ones, basically just because the wood ones, they start to burn up on the edges. You have to soak those in water too. Big pain in the butt. But metal ones. Okay, now that we got the chicken sewing done, it's time for the grill. Okay, so now we got the chicken all sewn up, ready to go on the grill. Because of the logistics of this, what we want to do is we want to get the wood chips on there before we get the chicken down. So drain the water out of here. So now we got some very moist, wet wood chips, which is exactly what we want. We don't want them dry because they'll burn up way too quickly and not give that smoky flavor that we're trying to get saturated inside the chicken. So let's take a look at the grill here. Already got my sausage up here. That's going to stay on the top rack to just smoke and get all the flavors. It'll heat up over time, and then later on when the chicken goes to the top rack, I can bring that down and sear it up if I want. Top rack is going to be useful to have. Make sure you have that foil cover on it, because when you put the chicken up there, you want the chicken to sit in its juices instead of having all the juices drip out, and then that dries out the chicken. So looking at the fire, we see the white in the coals. That means we're good to go and get this chicken on there. Also, if you have a temperature setting as well, that'll also give you an indicator as to how hot your fire is, so you can lay your chicken down. So first thing, let's get these wood chips on. It's going to be kind of hard with the camera to lay them all down, but we'll try as best as possible here. Getting them sprinkled in. All right, got that down. Now we're gonna move to putting that grate on there and getting this chicken on the grill. You can already see the smoke start to increase there, and that's due to the moisture in the wood, which is exactly what we want. And then we're gonna lay these bad boys down on here. Our goal, we want to sear them as much as possible while they're on the lower end. Once we get them to the upper end is when we're going to be more focused on cooking those insides, making sure we have a cooked bird, because we don't want no raw chicken. That's not going to be good. So we'll lay these bad boys on here. And of course, one of the things you want to keep in mind when cooking, especially with meats, you don't want cross-contamination on anything, so you want to make sure everything is as clean as possible. So we lay down that chicken there. Then we're going to want to get these bad boys inside to clean them. So I have some clean tongs to move around with later on. But you can see the smoke picking up now. So this is when we want to seal this down and lock in that flavor. And we'll be back in a moment. And what you're seeing now is the smoke starting to pick up here. So I closed off the valve a little bit. Just to let the full steam out, but I want to get that sealed up in there, get that smoke going in there. So I'm kind of closing out these valves just to allow a little bit of air through, not too much. As you can see, it's definitely doing a number there. So a lot more smoke than before. You want to keep this closed, at least for now, just to let it let the smoke do its thing, get into the chicken. Kind of keep an eye on your temperature there. Make sure you don't burn that chicken, because you want it too long on one end. But we'll open it up in a little bit, flip it, and see what we got. Okay, we got it running hot now. So what we want to do is start flipping these kebabs. So let's open this bad boy up here. Make sure we get equal browning. As we see here, we want to kind of flip this one based on where the heat's going. This one too. Get that other end there. This one also, flip it around. Okay, keeping an eye on that temperature there. Starting to cook. So we want to just jump in real quick and see if we got to flip anything. This one, I want to get this side cooked a little bit better, so I'm going to flip this around here. Then go through this side here. This side looks good, so let's flip it over to this end. Yeah, and you can see that side's getting cooked real well there. This side, we want to get back on the flame. Because of the focus of that flame there, I'm going to move this one out, bring this one in, kind of rotate these bad boys out a little bit. And once we get a coating kind of like this is what we want to see throughout it, we're going to put it back up on the cooling rack there, just to get the smoking in there, get that flavor in it. You can see the fire's picking up real good right now. So these things shouldn't take too much longer to cook, and we'll check in a moment. Alright, jumping in here to check again. Looking good right now. Everything's getting a nice browning to them. This side I want to cook it just a little bit more, get that nice browning I got on the other side of that. This looks good. This looks good except for this end right here. I'm going to flip this. Give it just a little bit of time on that grill, and then we're going to get this up to the cooling rack. Okay, so we're going to start putting them up on the rack over here. And key with these is you want to stack them. You want the juices to kind of drip into them, into each other. Kind of work off each other's heat. And have a good juice distribution. There is such a thing. So if you had more of these, you just keep stacking them up on top of each other. But since that's all I got, that's what we're going to do there. And then we're going to leave them up here for a little while let them cook up there because we want the insides to be really well cooked. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the sausage, which I didn't do any prep to, that's why there's no really video on it, just kind of appeared out of nowhere. We put the sausage down over here to get that seared, and then we're going to put it back up on that cooling rack to cook all the way through. Alright, sausage cooking quickly here. You see the sears all over it, so it's moving. It's cooking rather quickly, and then what we're going to do is just sear the other side real quick. And once we have that, what we can do, you could either stack it on top of your chicken here, let the juices drip down into the chicken, makes it very flavorful, or you just put it back up on the cooling rack over here. Choice is yours. See, here we go there, look at that. And that's why I put those flashes in there. You can see those open up real well because of the heat. And we're going to get this bad boy up here now. I'm going to put it right on top of the chicken there, let the juices drip down into it. And we'll keep cooking that now up on the cooling rack. And okay, so we can see it's really been cooking now. And when we open this up, you can see right here, look at that. Nothing but pure beauty. So that's ready to be harvested, it looks like to me. It's been sitting at 450 for a little while, so we know the inside's real cooked. And we can just kind of see the indications of all the boiling juices there, as you can see right here. So we know it's cooked now. It's been at 450 for a little while. That sausage, well, that's been dripping down into that chicken, so it's going to give it a lot of flavor. So at this point, good to take off the grill and enjoy.